Hey everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and this is day 7. We have completed our first week of Acrylic April. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hey guys.
I can't believe we've all gone through this journey together. I think we're really doing amazing. I am blown away by everyone. You guys have given me so much energy, and I think this is that fabulous part of the daily painting where you're like really feeling it. You know, you're like ready for that next painting and the next painting and the next painting, and you're kind of getting into them just for the techniques and stuff. And so it's been a really exciting time. Congratulations to everybody who is on day 7. But if you painted at all, congratulations to you, because art is an act of courage, in my opinion. You ready to jump on in, John?
Oh yeah.
All right, boom. So today we're going to be painting this fabulous little balloon over a yellow field. It's all colorful and gorgeous. I'm really excited to do it. Actually, super pumped. I'm doing this on an 8x8 surface. If you want to see the video where this was graded in the background or value study, just check the links below for all of the materials, for links to the website. Everything is there on the webpage, and you can always find what we're doing on the calendar. Click the picture, and there you'll go. All right, I have my colors out, and you guys check out the text that's on there. Cadmium yellow, vermilion, magenta, ultramarine, phthalo green, primary blue, burnt sienna, Naples yellow, black, and white. So hopefully that's going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy for you guys to follow the color mixing.
Yeah.
We did so good mixing loosely. And today, if you watch the value study, you know I'm kind of working from a particular color palette. So I'm really excited to get into this and just jump in, I think. Let's begin with the furthest objects out, the sky.
Okay.
Which will be a fun begin. And I'm going to get right back into it. So yesterday, we talked about getting into some of these muted purple, like warm blues. And so I'm up here in my ultramarine. This is my magenta and my ultramarine, and I'm just mixing them together. I'm going to add a smidge of white to pull the color up. This part up here, if we remember, was a bit darker in the value study. So I want to make sure that I keep that going. I like that darkness. Hello, darkness, my old friend. It was really fun. And I'm just coming along that little cloud line. I can always bring my little fluffy clouds over this dark value, but to have it there is really, really helpful. The value appreciates it, if that makes sense. And I'm actually going to be coming around the balloon with quite a lot of clouds. So that's why I felt really confident. I'm going to dip in my water, just the tip of my brush. I'm using a number 8 Cambridge. So that's pretty good. Back into the purple.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. I'm liking it. My journey. When you see me do this, I'm just getting paint out of the brush. I have too much paint in there, and I'm doing what's called offloading. Offloading my paint. So as I come through, I can pull in a few more whites. I can go more blue. There's really a lot of options and opportunities to be creative coming through the painting. Now, I'm moving into these lighter values, and I'm really specifically using the reference to pay attention to that as we are going down, that sky is lightening. When you're painting loosely, it can be tempting to feel like we're just painting like all over the canvas. But actually, we're trying to be very, very present to where our values are and where our colors are. I need a little more white there. So we definitely want to continue that. You can see I've lightened that value. Those clouds are so light here on the bottom that I am going to paint them over this sky right here. So that would be something as you're painting more loosely, if that is your goal, as it is mine, that you don't get the feeling like it's just about putting crazy brush strokes everywhere. It's about putting very deliberate brush strokes, but not as many of them. I don't know if does that put that into an interesting perspective?
I think it does.
I'm always excited to see what everybody thinks. Oh, I had too much blue in there?
Did you?
I did. But I just come back into my white and then blend that all out. You don't have to stress on that at all. A little basket. Now I'm going to wipe my brush off just to pull the excess pigment out. I'm going to get a little more of the ultramarine blue into that. And a lot more of my white. Interestingly enough, the darkest part of the clouds is here at the bottom, and then they'll get light as they come up. So that'll be a fun thing to have to kind of try to talk about. And that's what we're doing. We're just talking about distant little clouds. You can see I'm wiggling the brush up and down. I'm just implying a little cloud.
You're rotating your brush around a lot there.
I do. I want to catch all those little elements of my paint.
Does that
There we go. A little darker.
Does that play into the randomness at all?
Well, it can, but what it really is I know I've got my mix kind of in a few places. And when I rotate my brush, I'm getting to fresh paint. Coming up here, just getting lighter. You can see we're just getting into that cloud and it just gets lighter, doesn't it? Couple interesting value changes. You can always come back with a little extra shading. Feel like you can be playful as you need. There's a lot of interesting little soft fluffies. I love soft fluffies. Just little stratas of light background into then these cumulus style clouds. So that's what we're doing. We're just trying to find our layers and our space. I just rinsed out. I'm going to get some more white on here. I'm going to come here and pick up some highlights in this cloud. Maybe up here in that corner. I see a little bit that's happening here, and I'll pick that up. So you'll see that adding the highlights in the clouds, that really helps them come out. And you want to just avoid really consistent, repetitive lines. And it's tempting. I tell you, it's tempting. I'm on the corner of my brush now. I'm just dancing this. There's a lot of different cloud forms here. And so it's really a fun experimentation, right, to get to play with those. So there's the light. There's strata, aren't they? The little distant little fluffs.
Yeah.
So those are always a ton of fun. Come on this side. We've got a lot of them up in the sky. Let's get some more white onto our brush. And then if we get into the corner, just all around here. And then a little of the blue into the brush because we want to have that color in there, even as we add white.
I think I just had that camera going crazy for a second.
What happened?
Was
it like, what was it doing?
I'm not exactly sure.
You don't know. We don't know.
But it's back now.
It's back. Camera's back. So I think this is fun to stop and think about, like, how we're gonna kind of expressively talk about the sky a little. I'm just building up the banks, right? Because we've got that cloud banks. Working that paint into my brush. Getting it all loaded in the belly. Working my corners. So I have special brushes to do like little hard cloud edges, but I always like to say you can, the brush, and it's a fantastic brush and I really, really like it, but clouds are really about randomizing shapes and trying to keep your eye from getting stuck into something in particular. So the trick to these is always just pay attention to your value. And I got just a little more blue, and you can see we're into that little more blue right here. Deeper into that.
Now, you just
play right here.
Switch over to that one. You just did a couple of really good videos that talked a little bit about how hue works.
Yes, I did. I would say the first one to watch is the split primary wheel, because that's going to explain to you a lot about color mixing. and why sometimes what you're doing works, and then other times it almost, like in a surprising way, completely like fails. And you're like, wait, what happened? And so it kind of covers those hidden events that happen within your art. Now we're just painting this little loose sky.
Mm-hmm.
Little loose sky. I'm just paint every little detail. We're trying to capture sort of this sense of cloudscape at the foot. These are sort of lovely. I feel like there is the beginnings of something here for sure. I've rinsed out. I'm going to get a little bit of my Naples yellow and come in, mark a little of the lines on my clouds. You guys kind of see that? Just a little bit here. And that will almost pick those up, right?
Yeah.
Little Naples yellow. Pay particular attention to the Naples that you grab, because there's several very different types of Naples. All right. Just painting this nice little bank that's happening there. There's a fun little fellow over here. Sure, the tree will block some of it, but catching little bits of this will help us just really enjoy our time. Coming up on the front of that, I think. And I'm just kind of thinking and paying attention to where the highlights are on my clouds. See, I kind of pull some of these into the balloon a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I can even come still into here.
Allison and
Hi, Allison.
We are loving the clouds.
Clouds are, they're one of those things that they give new artists a lot of anxiety. They can take a minute to kind of get used to. But eventually what will happen, if you just refuse to let them have their way with you, is that you will start to see their shapes and their forms and how very little can do quite a lot for how they paint out. Now, that being done, I kind of had some interesting, if you remember, like concerns about the balloon. And so what I'm going to do for the balloon is I'm going to grab some ultramarine and a little of my magenta. I want to darken it a bit. And this is just the pure color. And I'm going to paint this in first layer. Pretty dark. Paying attention to the shape. These air balloon shapes are a trip. Just a little bit of this little space. Yeah, I'm doing the dark value in here. There we go. Do what I can to make sure the shape makes sense, but don't make that more important than the object itself. And I will get a little black onto my brush with the blue. I'm going to come right here and paint a little basket. It's just afloat there. I can always come, if I want it to have very crisp edges, I can always come back with a little bit of my sky color. Okay. Where I need to, if that is required. And I'm going to let all that have a dry. Today, the balloon is going to help me work out the kids in the rain with the rainbow umbrella. So I'm sort of excited to be working on that. Next color, I think I'm going to go into this purple right here. But I'm going to gray it a little bit with a little bit of black. Shade it like you do. Oh, now I've added white, so I've toned it, right? This is one of my deeper values. I have to make sure that it's going to read as such, even though I'm not quite the chromatic black, but I would say it's one of the darker values on the canvas. So we're going to see if this color will give us what I'm looking for. I think it might.
Is that what you were looking for?
Well, so far, if the colors I selected, so basically what this is going to be is an analogous color composition with a complement and a little discord, which is always fun. And what I mean by that is I use my color wheel to pick an arrangement of colors that are pleasing together and have a little drama and excitement. Well, that's nice. In and of itself, I just like that color and that effect. Okay. Yep. So I'm going to work my tree in a very similar space. I think I'll get more into the magenta. And there's this little distant tree. Here, there's a little distant tree there.
Oh, yeah.
Look, our tree isn't even green. How cool is that? And then I can come put a little white on my brush, and I mix this much lighter value here. Let's just highlight some bits of the tree. I'm gonna rinse out. Get a lot more white into that color. I want it to be quite a light value, and I added a lot more pink. I just want to make sure that there's value differences on that background tree. Makes a difference to me. I'll probably come back with some darker purple value in there.
Wouldn't you,
as you do.
Next time you get a chance, would you tilt the surface forward just a little bit? I want to see how the angle shifts. See, it's one of the real interesting things that if you'll look between the two cameras, it always, there's just such a subtle shift in purples and blues as the white hits it. I always am worried that I've got the cameras off, but as soon as you tilt the surface, you can see them change from that deeper purple to the lighter blue, and that shift is just, it's really interesting how subtle it is when you're right up on the surface.
Hopefully, as we're going, we're really going to be able to play this background in a really dramatic way against our balloon. You guys might be painting in more photorealistic colors, and that's okay too.
Now, can I ask what maybe a novice question?
Yeah, you can. Please always ask, and never feel like the question is something you shouldn't ask. You can ask any question.
Why would you want discordant colors in a painting?
Well, too much discordant painting can create a general sense of no harmony. Like there's a lack of harmony.
Oh, sure.
But a small amount of it can create a little bit of excitement. I think there's a similar principle in music that I've heard you talk about.
Like using major or minor keys?
Mm-hmm. It can be like a lot. Like a Bjork song.
Okay, so I can see some similarities kind of there, yeah.
I'm having fun with it, yo. So I'm going to go ahead and get into my green. I'm going to pull out a little of my green, and I'm going to grab a lot of my yellow. These are kind of my yellow greens. In my background, I have a darker and lighter value set kind of happening in my background. I will gray my green with a little burnt sienna to help deepen it. So this will be that first little run right here that I'm going to be thinking about. I'm coming underneath that little bit of yellow. while I'm letting my balloon dry.
Now we're approaching our 20-minute mark today.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to be on the time today, but I'm going to do my best.
Well, that's why I was just giving you a heads up.
This one's one of our more kind of involved little fellows.
Go, Sherpa.
Go, go, go. I'm going to add a
Go,
lot more
Sherpa.
yellow to this. There we go.
We're all cheering for you.
Cheering for me. And I'm going to come back and forth with this much more yellow. So the brown's still in there, the green's still in there, but we've added a little bit of yellow, and I'll come trim that little edge a bit. This will help me. Little trimmy, trim, trim. There we go, back into the initial brown mix. Along this roadway. You can kind of see I'm wiggling the brush back and forth.
Yep.
Just making some general thoughts.
It's the road to the hot air balloon.
Now, I'm going to take the front, add a lot more green. So we're going to be in the phthalo green, a lot more green. Quite intense. You can pull in a little yellow to it. And we're going to, just in this front area, do this darker green. I might actually turn this upside down. This is going to be just about a little ½ inch of it. I will, you'll notice, go up and down with it. And I'm going up and down. You can pull more yellow until you still just want it to be, you can warm the green with yellow almost into a hunter's green. You just want it to, this front to be a deeper green, more saturated than anything else we have going on. That's going really well. Now, weird thing I'm going to do. I'm going to just brush a little white. A little bit. Okay if some of the green pulls into it. I'm going to brush a little white. I talked about this in the value study. Because we've got yellow coming up, and yellow, especially across different brands of paint, can be so impacted and lose its saturation because it's essentially glaze, which means it's transparent. So sometimes when you put it over its complement, which is purple, it'll gray it out. We don't want to gray out the yellow right here. This we want to be so saturated. And again, it's okay to allow it to blend a bit. Right here, that's all right if it does that. You just want to make sure that you've got a bright spot in the middle for your yellow to work. And the white will take a bit of that away. That purple away. That'll be helpful. Now while I've got the white on the brush, I might as well get a little of my brown. And grab some of my Naples. I'm going to just wiggle through. I'm leaving some of the purple. You guys noticing that?
I do.
Just some Naples. Adding just a bit of that here and there. Just talk about that far side of the road a little bit lighter. And now the purple popping through kind of creates a sense of a shadow or value change that's really fresh and light and happy and easy. Back here, I'm going to take a little of my Had Yellow and my Vermilion. And it will almost on the palette almost appear to be like a very light orange. But once it gets onto the canvas, it will read as yellow. And what we're doing here that's really cool is now we're using the purple for back here. aren't we? Look at that. The purple's coming through and graying it a bit, which helps
It
push
is.
those yellow flowers to the distance.
It also kind of, in an interesting way, richens and deepens the yellow.
Isn't it great?
It's kind of an interesting chromatic play.
So that's what you're thinking about when you do these underpaintings, is you're thinking, what will the impact of that be? Now, the background is not just completely one uniform color, so I'm going to come and add a little more yellow into this and just make sure that I've got some pops. See? Just imply some variance in the background, far, far away. I'm rinsing out thoroughly. I'm going to come and take a little of my brown and my black. And I'm here a couple places and very lightly add some little depth for a roadway. You know what we're doing?
I do. I like the little road.
Just a little something.
It says there's been a little Jeep that's been going down this road.
Now I'm going to get fresh water.
All right, why?
I am. And I'm going to try to do this with this brush.
You get fresh water a lot.
I do, but I need a lot of bright colors here.
And it helps with that?
It's going to help with that. But the first thing to make sure that I can get some bright colors there when I need them is I'm going to have to put a little white to the front of the balloon.
I've heard you say that it's very important, especially when doing yellows, to change your paint off or to change your water out often.
Yeah.
Because the purples and blues will turn those yellows, even just from the water, really muddy, huh?
They really, really can. I'm going to take my cad yellow and a little of my burnt sienna. Make kind of almost a yellow ochre color. I'm going to highlight some of the basket.
That is a mighty pointy brush you're using.
This is my number 4 round, and it does help me do some detail work when I need to.
When you say it is a Art Sherpa number 4 round.
I would like to be at a place where I can hit just the corner of my brush, and then it's a whole thing, and you saw I'm getting there with the bee, but still a work in progress. Still a work in progress. Okay, so the first bit of this coming through.
You just switched brushes.
I did. I'm back to my number 8.
Okay, what is this? This is number 8?
Yeah, and I'm getting there's a little bit of the green into my yellow, and I'm going to start coming here and dealing with this center area. Little bit of green in there. I do want to imply that there's some. I don't want it to be, because we have little bits of it, right? No, I'm just pushing this here.
I love that there is a greeting that kind of I've seen happen a couple times where the Sherpetzer will say, "Happy Acrylic April."
You know what? There should be gift exchange, and it should be art supplies. Tell your partners.
but instead, what are we going to have?
I'm loading up more yellow into this space, and I'm going to come up here in the front, and I'm going to wiggle this back and forth. See how I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'm going to talk about these flowers up here. It's just going to be kind of loose, and I want the green to show through. So don't just go crazy. Like, really try to slow down, breathe, think about the different little spots of color. Like, I'm aware of the time. John lets me know the time. You guys have got the time, and that's our goal. And we're definitely going to try to be aware of our goals, just so that we're not wearing ourselves out.
You're coming right in there in that 30-minute mark.
Yeah, but don't take away your chance to see something important in the painting in that need for speed. I feel the need for speed.
You know what would make Acrylic April seem like more happier?
More free art supplies?
free art supplies. I think that's right. I think we should give some art supplies away.
I think we should too.
Well, we're gonna go back and talk to the gnomes and come up with a plan on how we can make Acrylic April happier by making sure there's
Well,
some.
I think Silverbrush had talked about helping us make Acrylic April happier for some
Well, I didn't
people.
want to just we don't have a plan.
Keep
to
an eye
explain
out
that.
for it. And
There's coming.
Deliberately Creative has a tremendous giveaway going right now. So there is some, and I think every year we will see sponsors coming forward and donating more and more stuff
That's
to give
true.
to
We
people.
will. I know that there's other stuff we've got in the works, but I wasn't prepared to talk about it.
He wasn't
Live.
prepared. You know, that's what it was. He wasn't prepared.
You prepared? We've been live how many days in a row? I'm not prepared for anything.
It's just been so, it's like real funny when you're like, why I want to be, make sure we go through stuff with everybody. And then you go through it with everybody and you're like, I'm just dabbing a little bit of these deep bits of green. Trying to randomize it. I'm on the corner of my brush. My brush pressure is light. It's okay that the yellow is still wet underneath because, we want little bits of green to be popping through. Add just smidges, see? The smidge thing. Because when we come back through with other paint, only small amounts of that are even going to show through. I'm just touching the brush. That's all I'm doing. Just touching the brush. Touching the brush. Touching the brush.
Just getting it. Do.
Rinsing out. This is having a little second. It looks a little crazy right now, but it actually I think will come together quite well. Top of my balloon. I'm going to take my magenta actually into my phthalo blue. Not phthalo. Primary blue, though we all know it's secretly actually phthalo. Primary blue. I'm going to come to the top. I'm going to see if I can't handle this stripiness that we have, but I want to do it loose. So wish me luck, guys. The loose stripe, which is going to be like, you know what? I should have used that color in another spot. Here's strategy. So you don't end up where I just did. If you've got to color a couple places on the balloon, hit them both while you've got it. So if there's a kind of medium stripe down here, definitely try to hit that at that same time. All right. Now I'm going to pop the next stripe up a bit just so that it really shows. So I'm going to take out my primary, get a little bit of my green into it and grab some of my white. See how that pops that to this very different blue that's elsewhere in the painting. I'm going to come across with that stripe. Oh, maybe that was the stripe. Okay, fine. There we go. While I've got this blue on there, I'm going to go ahead and make a much lighter blue. And here at the front, I'm going to highlight it.
Yep.
You can take it back a little bit. Right now, very strange little balloon in the sky with two little stripes. What do we think of that? I don't know. We're working on it. So next color, I'm going to say is kind of like my, I'm going to mix my magenta and my red together to get it. I think they're going to really, see that's actually, if you look at that magenta and my red, that's my Discord.
Wait, you just said it again. You just did that so fast.
That's my Discord.
Oh, I see.
So not a lot of it.
Said the camera to the color wheel.
And what's nice about having done the white up front, you can see it actually also helps me keep that color space. So it is getting dark as it goes back. Now, I will, however, still come and add white and exaggerate that, having that back. I'm trying to show that the balloon is light in the front and darker in the back. And so this is the way that I'm doing that. Rinsing, rinsing, rinsing. Clean water will be key through this very challenging process of stripes. All right, so some yellow and some of our vermilion to make a very bright orange. Be a little more vermilion. Strong orange. Put like it's got almost like a whole range of them coming through here.
I like that orange.
Yeah, it's fun. I have never tried to paint striped balloons for this very reason.
They're complex.
They're complicated. So complicated. And I'm going to pull this color at the front. I think actually when this is all done, we're going to be super pleased with it. A little more of my yellow. The next kind of is sort of a more this color. I just flipped over. I'm just trying to make sure that there's enough. And don't stress if you like boo-boo your stripe, because you have to put stripes underneath them, so chances are you're going to be painting up into it anyway, so it's okay. You know, you can always come back with like some paint and be like, I want to see you just to pop it, so don't feel like you can't. Rinsing. I know, lots of rinsing. There's definitely like a strong yellow through there. Maybe we'll do the Naples and the cad. Through here. And trimming as it comes down. Oh, get right into these greens. There's a couple lovely greens. Here we go. Are we doing okay? Am I in the way of cameras? I got sort of a stripy balloon going. So, I still want some yellow into it because it's definitely a yellow green, but it's darker than our first value. Now, we're going to use a glaze and a highlight to cause that to really pop out, I think is the technique I'm going to use there. So while that's having a dry,
Yeah.
since I have a lot to do here, I'm going to go ahead and get into some of those warmer, yummy red, yellow colors that we had. I'm going to just, that's maybe a little more red, but I'm not stressed about it. Overall, the aspect will be yellow, and I'm out here at the outer edge. Going through a lot of yellow.
Yeah.
This whole process. Just in the journey, have you noticed? Yellow is one of those colors. The cad yellow, I'm going through faster than I expected. I'm just tapping the brush. I'm just trying to catch the texture of these little. And I'm making sure that this distant line is like soft. And what's great is that the transparency helps gray those distant. You see how it does that?
Yeah.
Which is nice. I'm going to just keep coming through the middle. I'm going to get my yellow into this. But even as it's picking up red, it's still, getting stronger into that yellow. You can see it's quite thick on the brush. So especially with student paints, I think one of the hardest things is to keep the yellow feeling yellow. Knowing to paint white underneath is a very important strategy to know about your paint. And even if you were painting like a professional paint, all that really means is there's just a lot more pigment and engineering into it. With yellows, you'd still have to be making little strategies about how you plan to get through any of this. You can kind of see that right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some white into my yellow. I'm going to make a much lighter value. I'm coming here to the center of the field and I'm kind of lightening that value. I feel like I need more just pure yellow. Load it up. Trying to stay out of the green and other colors. I'm just loading up. And you can see I'm putting it on real thick. And layering. You can tap little bits here to talk about like little distant flower stems that are up and softly out of focus. I'm going to grab some Naples, just right on there. So just trying to catch a little bit of light in the center. Rinse, rinse, rinse. I'm going to dry my balloon just to make sure it's dry so I can do the next parts, and then I'll finish the flowers, and then we're done.
Okay.
You guys are ready?
Okay.
Okay.
I think so. So while she's going to say that, I'm going to say thank you guys for coming and hanging out and making Acrylic April such a cool and like real thing. It is, my genuine pleasure to be a part of such a thing where there's so much wonderful art going out in the world. And when I think about all the people who get to look at all of the art that's being created in homes that you guys make, it just is, it fills my heart with happiness. So thank you guys for making art and sharing it with people and hanging it and filling the world with pretty things. That's sort of really cool. So thank you. Oops, there's a button.
All right, I'm gonna just dry my brush off, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get, I think, my phthalo, not phthalo, primary. I'm going to turn this over on its side. I'm gonna glaze just a little bit this far side. I don't want to paint over my colors completely. I just want to sort of create a transparent little shadow. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
I can even exaggerate that some. Sorry.
So,
Going in a darker color, but I'm doing it in just cautious order.
Judy asks a funny question to me.
Okay.
She says, John, or one of the moderators, what's the best way to store my multitude of finished paintings? I'm like, air conditioning storage unit. But in reality, in a cool air conditioned shelf.
Yeah, acrylic gets soft when it's warm, which is why tissue or anything almost besides glassine will stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
In the warmer months. So it's very important to have your paintings, if they're being just stored, in a humidity and temperature controlled location. Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to take some of this white and I'm going to exaggerate maybe some of the highlight that we might be seeing right here. Have that yep, good.
That looks like a highlighted balloon.
It does look a little bit like a highlighted balloon. And take my white, lift up my yellow. See if I can get one more value up in here. And I think I'm gonna sign it and call it done.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean we got this, we got it in,
I'm
we know what it
ready.
is, it's all
I love
good.
it.
I'm gonna take I brought in a detail brush because
I'm loving it. You're at 45 minutes. You nailed it.
I nailed it.
So it's like, okay.
I'm having fun with these guys. These are
I
just
love 'em.
a really fun. It's not so serious, and we're kind of in them and out of them. I'm making a nice light blue to sign with my detail brush. You know what? Why am I doing that? Bringing little tiny drops of water when I have a mister. So that was silly. You're trying to thin paint. You're like, I will do it by one small micro drop at a time.
Well, before we go, I'm going to wish a happy acrylic April to all, and to all a good paint.
Did you see the poem that was written in group that was
I did.
it's the fantastic
It's
thing ever.
brilliant. You guys have to go check out in the Facebook group. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Facebook group, the Acrylic April Facebook group, there has been some really good poetry, and one particular one there from the Cinnamons being brought to mind. So, and I don't remember the author, so otherwise I would cite it. But definitely go check that out. There's a reason for you to go. Go check it out.
The other thing, be online, search Acrylic April,
Mhm.
And you're going to see
There's
some
stuff.
even other artists, other creators doing projects for Acrylic April. Check them out. The Artistic Biker's doing some stuff, John.
Cool.
I know. I was so pumped to see it. I was like, dude, Artistic Biker's in the house. I know
just love when
Ian
people
Jackson's in group doing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
I
he
know
was-
Mona is. Chrissy.
I saw Ian live the other day.
Did you?
Yep.
That is awesome. We got Stephanie and Mark. So we got people doing it.
We do.
Yeah. Okay. And we're gonna turn around. We're gonna
yeah?
look. Oh, I love this one. Ew, I love it. All right, turn around. Sorry.
She just kicked this wall.
I'm fine. I'm just a little bit pleased with myself because when I see it from there, it's exactly what I had in my head, and it did the things that I wanted to do. So I'm definitely enjoying that part of the creative process. I hope you're enjoying your part of the creative process.
You know what you didn't give me today?
What?
Is a day 8 end screen.
Yeah, I did.
You did.
I did. I put it in Skype yesterday.
Well, you'll have to give me just a moment to look.
I will give it. So here, while John's finding the day 8 end screen that I did give, and I hope I'm not gonna seem silly, but I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. So here we are at our first week. Week 2 is going to be awesome. There is kind of a hump day that happens in the middle of one of these journeys, where you're getting, I guess what it is you're really developing a bunch of new skills, and it's almost like a growing pains, but it's like a creative growing pains. And then you get the next run. I predict some of you are not going to stop at the end of April. There's a lot of people who are daily painters every single day, their entire lives. You can check out dailypainters.com. You can check out dailypaintworks.com and see the art of some of these amazing creatives. And so hopefully what this is going to leave you with after this month, besides a lot more skills, besides, the sense of painting more confidently and quickly and more surely and loosely, if that's your goal, is the sense that you can just paint as often as you need, and subject matter isn't really the barrier to getting the painting done. Because I certainly had no idea what I was going to do with this balloons. All right, I'm fine.
All right.
Be good to yourself. Check the description below for the next video stuff. Be good to each other. And I want to see you at the easel really soon.
Bye-bye.